As Meghan Markle and Prince Harry continue to literally sell their children, and you can dress it up really, as I often say here, chums, on the show, any way you want. You're basically putting two children, some might say without their permission, onto digital platforms, onto programming, meanwhile berating any other celebrity that dares to do the same, royal or not, saying, we want to protect our children. You have to be a first responder. What was all that cackle and nonsense that they sat down with CBS and Jane Powley on Sunday morning? I mean, they just look ridiculous. Do they not? They exploited those people next to them, basically saying what truly happened to some horrific stories regarding people in social media. And Meghan and Harry, the minute somebody comes along with a check, here we go. But here's the bigger picture. And when you look at this, it makes you wonder exactly why the palace do not do their own investigation. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as ever, welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Thank you, by the way, for your lovely comments about our little trip out to Huddersfield in West Yorkshire, the home, of course, of James Mason, a wonderful actor, and of course, the former British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Harold Wilson. Yeah, he was kind of like in my era just a little bit. I mean, I was at school really when he was knocking around, but I do sort of remember him coming up on news reports. I think the thing that, it's an interesting thing, this is, I think the thing that resonated with me was because he had a northern accent, that was kind of different to hear somebody, you know, from that background in that big position of power. But when you go down Huddersfield, you can see that that was a town built and a lot of hard graft and a lot of money coming in from those dark satanic mills. Absolutely. Some people might say the same thing about these two ex-royals trying to build an empire on those dark satanic mills, as it were, because as you've now seen, once again, all the newspapers gushing, and I hate this phrase, you know I do, chums, adorable pictures. There's nothing adorable about two back of the head shots of two children looking at a birthday cake with no other children around, yet apparently it was a special day for Lily's birthday. This was, of course, the free birthday party that they managed to squeeze out of Disney for a fee. You get the picture. And I'm not bothered about that, you know, that celebrities all do that they can do that. But why does the mainstream media say it's adorable? There's nothing adorable about it. The interchanging hair colours, the size of the children, everything. Here's what I find really interesting, and an ex-staff member told me this, and this to me, it says it all about exactly why the palace really should have some antennae raised. You see, what's interesting is when Harry sat down with Stephen Colbert, if you remember, he said he was very shocked, again contradicting everything that he and his wife had thrown at the British monarchy. He was very shocked that the genetic ginger gene came through so strongly given Meghan's heritage. Now when you look at Meghan's heritage, right, she claims to be 43% Nigerian. You get that bit, right? And here's where the next bit gets interesting. Now, when you look at both of those children's hair colour, he, as we know, sadly for him, and I'm not mocking in any way, but his hair hasn't lasted. He has a very thin follicle. Seemingly, Prince, you know, Archie has got very strong genes, so of course has Lily. But there is not one trace of Nigerian look in any of their hair. Unless she's straightening it, then there is nothing in that particular thing. However, sources who worked inside that particular domain at the Sussex mansion tell me that once you do see the children, there is no trace of Meghan Markle's features at all. In fact, they are sort of doppelgangers of Harry. They have his features, his colouring, his eyes, all that sort of stuff. They apparently were just absolutely stunned. Now, when you think about it, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? I'm not suggesting for one moment that these are not the children of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan. What I'm saying is that this is going to be interesting when they finally unveil the children for the right cost and the right money, and they will. But isn't it odd that against all odds, and given the fact that when you look at the strength of the gene and the fact that both Harry and Meghan waved flags around saying she was 43% Nigerian, that's a very strong in-turn of percentage. And yet seemingly none of that is passed over onto, of course, those two children. Now, we could be wrong. When they spin them round finally, maybe they'll have the face of Meghan. But right now, you can't see any trace of it, can you? And neither could the ex-staff. Neil Shaw in Kensington, London.